are joined right now via Skype by Bob Lowry. He is joining us from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They are that amazing organization. None of us likes to hear about them, but nobody likes to see the posters, but they are instrumental in saving lives when the bad stuff happens to our kids. So first of all, Bob, we welcome you to Autism Live.
Well, thank you for having me on. It's a real pleasure to be on with you.
Well, it's a thrill for us to have you on here because we need to face some facts that our kids with autism will wander, they will elope. You get to sit at a desk where you're seeing this more and more often, correct?
Well, being here at the National Center, obviously we get a national perspective of the issue. We are quite concerned with the demographic, and it seems to be increasing, and the numbers from the CDC are not good. But I can tell you from our experience here at the National Center, we do see increases in the reports that are made to us of children who wander. It's estimated right now that nearly 50% of our children with autism will wander sometime in their lifetime. So we are quite concerned. We're not only concerned for the safety of these kids, but also getting them back into a safe place quickly. And sometimes we can do that, but in other cases, like we've seen recently, that it doesn't always happen.
Right. These don't always have happy endings. But you have really filled a need for our community and put some incredible resources on your website, missingkids.com. And I want to talk about some of these things, Mr. Lowry, because I think a lot of times parents are paralyzed. The idea that our children could go missing at some point is so terrifying. We don't want to look at it, but there are things that we could do today that would make us feel better, because in the event that our child should ever go missing, it's going to make it easier to find our kids if we use your resources. I want you to know that our question of the day to our viewers was, what plan do you have in place in case your child should go missing? These are all autism parents who answered, and overwhelmingly they've answered, I will have a heart attack, I will freak out and run screaming, and I'll call the police. But we're not hearing. We had one parent who wrote in and said, I have a plan, I have information about him, I've got hair with DNA, and I want to cheer on that mom, but we all need to be more like her, and we can be if we use your resources. So talk to us a little bit about what you wish parents would have in place.
Well, one is that it's important is that if your child does go missing or does wander from you, stay calm. Call law enforcement and notify the police as quickly as you can. Be prepared to answer questions that are. When you're in crisis, it's going to be a little harder to remember. But things like what clothing your child was wearing, the type of hairstyle they had that day, and it's important. Even things like their shoes. Some of our children, as you know, will shed that clothing as well. But it's important that we keep that information handy. But get law enforcement on site as quickly as we can. The other thing we say, well, after you notify law enforcement, engage anyone that you have in your vicinity that you know, anyone you can get to start looking at places for your child. Favorite places they may go, but we're also concerned about water. As you know, as a lot of the deaths that have been attributed to children with autism has been a result of drowning. So we advise to get as many people as they can to water hazards, and don't even wait for the police to get there. And try to head your children off as quickly as possible.
Okay, and you've got some forms that we could fill out today and just keep, like, with a magnet on the refrigerator or stick in the freezer in an envelope, that will help law enforcement if our child should go missing, right? And you've got those forms on your website. We do.
Under our missingkids.com website for the National Center, there's an area called Publications, and when you scroll down, click that on, and then look for law enforcement resources there. And there is a full publication that we've written for first responders and law enforcement on what to do and how to conduct a search for a child with special needs. Within that document is a questionnaire for caregivers and parents, specifically asking information about your child. As we know, each one of our children are unique, and their behaviors are going to be unique. And it's important that those police officers and those first responders get that information immediately, because the faster they can get that information, the quicker we can find your child.
Okay, well, I want to commend you guys on the work that you do. I know you work with a lot of autism organizations, and we have talked to you now, and we're going to be more involved with you in letting people know when a child is missing somewhere in the United States. I want to thank you and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for taking the time to consider that things will be different for our kids with autism and helping us to be hooked up with these resources. You guys are doing a remarkable job, and we commend you.
Well, thank you, but our work is we still have a lot of work ahead of us. Parents will be very helpful. Just keep in mind is that protection of your children first lies within the family, then with law enforcement, and then we'll be there to help you as well. But our kids, we are concerned, and we're going to be there for you.